leadership. You have even started implementing them, collecting data around that.
From 2011, we will be in collaboration with Rwanda Basic Education Board. That time it was not a Basic Education Board. They developed 5 standards which really help now to evaluate, to assess school leaders. And another support was on a CPD training program for school leaders. So we developed a CPD program for school leaders, and we started by identifying one school leader by sector, and we started with 416 school leaders to benefit, just to start the program of this CPD training program. The VVOB contributed a lot to School Leadership Task Force, because at Rwanda Basic Education Board now we have different task forces, and specifically for School Leadership Task Force, VVOB is co-chairing that task force.
So VVOB's current program is called the Leading Teaching Learning Together, LT Squared or LTLT. It's a 5-year program, and it's been running in 17 districts, and it will be ending this year. But really, leading teaching and learning together is exactly that. We are improving the competences, strengthening effective school leadership, and also learning along the way. We're in strategic partnership with Minaduk, and of course the Rwanda Basic Education Board, University of Rwanda College of Education, with whom we work together to design these courses, but also redevelop and implement, and then monitor and evaluate.
We participate in developing the material that allow the program to be implemented. We provide the trainers. That is the most important part. That's why even VVOB came to seek the partnership, because our mission is to train educational professionals, including qualified teachers and school leaders. So VVOB is helping us to really do our job, and be able to improve the quality of education.
VVOB helped us to reflect back on what we were teaching in relation to school leadership and the management, and we used their experience in the in-service training program to enrich our pre-service training. We have been able to reflect on that our programs, because we learned some best practices that are resulting from the training, and we have been able to reflect back on that, based on those practices. So we have integrated some of the case stories about best practices from our field visit, to assess the impact the training is producing, and we are integrating them in our programs so that our learners be aware of those best practices, and we also provide them opportunities to go and verify experience those best practices when they go on the school attachment.
And also with the support of VVOB and in collaboration with the University of Rwanda College of Education, modalities of continuous professional development for school leaders were initiated, and they are currently being delivered in blended mode. These are, we have a CPD diploma in effective school leadership, complemented by 2 professional learning communities of school leaders at sector level.
Kumenya kugena icyerekezo cy'ishuri nk'umuyobozi, burya umuyobozi mwiza n'umuyobozi ushobora kugena icyerekezo cy'ishuri, hanyuma n'uburyo bwo gukorana n'abandi no gusangira inshingano kugira ngo birusheho kugenda neza.
Before taking the training, I was not confident as I am. I have participated in CPD, Continuous Professional Development, where we have learned more things, but I have enjoyed with the coaching conversation. How can I help other school leaders in order to improve their performance?
We're actually seeing that school leaders are reporting that they actually know their role. They have the competences to deliver on their role. It's just not administrative, but actually they can set strategic direction, which is very important.
Rwanda Basic Education Board recognizes really the contribution of VVOB. VVOB really has been a good partner during this journey to empower our school leaders.
Effective school leadership is key to leverage quality of education for better learning and more resilient education systems. Empowering school leaders and developing their capacities are key actions to allow them to establish systems that enable teachers to continuously improve their practice and galvanize the whole community to support students' hopes and dreams. In this regard, the Ministry of Education in Rwanda has made great progress towards institutionalization of effective school leadership in basic education. A dedicated school leadership and management unit has been created, and through this unit, evidence-based professional standards for effective school leadership have been established, which describe the key roles, responsibilities, and required competencies to be an effective school leader. These standards now serve as a framework for recruitment, assessment, and professional development of school leaders. Responding to the question of teacher requires governments, international organizations, and civil society members to work in synergy and find adequate solutions for teachers together. In this line, the Ministry of Education in Rwanda, in collaboration with different partners, is in the process of establishing an African Center for School Leadership, with the aim of supporting governments in Africa to build capacity in promoting effective school leadership for improved quality of teaching and learning outcomes.
We want to focus on 4 key areas of support. One is the development or redevelopment of policies, guidelines, standards, CPD provisions for school leaders. That's one. Another area is the support in the delivery of these school leadership programs. And also we want to strengthen monitoring, evaluation, and research, because we want to first to help the countries to take informed or evidence-based decisions in terms of promoting effective school leadership in their countries. And of course, knowledge mobilization and advocacy. We want to share or extend or disseminate evidence from the research that we are going to conduct.
Good morning. You will excuse us, we started a little bit, few minutes late, but it's okay, we shall try to catch up this time. Welcome to this event. I hope we are all negative in terms of testing. But we should remain positive inside here, don't be negative. I'm called Julius, I work for VVIB, and I'm going to be the MC for this event. I want to take you through the agenda. I think everyone has a folder, and in that folder there is an agenda. So we are on agenda item 3, basically. We are done with our tea. But before we have that agenda item, I want to take you through the agenda and the objective of this event. We shall have the welcome remarks from the Country Programs Manager, VVIB. Then we also have the opening statement from our guest, Chief Guest, the Permanent Secretary, the Minister of Education. From there, we shall have a presentation by Solange on the overview of reading, teaching, and learning together, a MasterCard-funded project in 14 districts, basically focusing on achievements and key impact. We shall also have a very interesting session, a panel, moderated by Dr. Mike from University of Rwanda, and we have very distinguished panelists on this. Then we shall have a Q&A for after the panel. Then have an exhibition of the school leadership system strengthening. We should also have a group photo as evidence, of course. We need evidence. And lastly, we shall have the closing remarks, and then the most important event or session of lunch. So, without delay, allow me to invite the Country Program Manager, Mariana, for the welcome remarks.
Am I tall enough, short enough? Okay, okay. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, representative of the Director General, Rwanda Basic Education Board, and your team, representative of the Principal, University of Rwanda College of Education, and lecturers here today, Country Head, MasterCard Foundation, Deputy Head of Mission and Cooperation, Embassy of Belgium in Rwanda, representatives of development partners and other organizations in your various capacities. Good morning. Moramutse. That's my new language. I'm doing a CPD in Kinyarwanda, having been here a year, so I'm slowly learning. And I think mainly you start with greetings, the thank yous, the pleases, and then you proceed, right? Okay. To our international guests, welcome to Rwanda. Thank you all for honoring our invitation and for taking the time to attend this closing event for the Leading Teaching and Learning Together program, which ran from 2018 to 2021 and was part of the MasterCard Foundation in Rwanda's Leaders in Teaching program. Welcome in a special way to this event, through which we aim to reflect on the results and lessons of the program. We also want to celebrate the achievements, and I think that will be through the lunch, perhaps, but also glean the elements that can be taken forward to strengthen continuous professional development systems for school leaders in secondary education. As I prepared for this event, I read through the Secondary Education in Africa report, Preparing Youth for the Future of Work, which was published in July 2022 by the MasterCard Foundation. I think MasterCard team, you're pleased that I actually took the time to read it.
But some of the key insights I took away were that secondary education will be a key platform for young people in Africa to enter the world of work. Digitization, automation, and technology advances are changing the nature of work globally, including in Africa. Those trends will increase uncertainty and the pace of change, raising the premium on skills young people need to be adaptable, resilient, and be creative problem solvers. I think some of us call those 21st century skills, nuance. Hence, ensuring a highly skilled teaching workforce and strengthening education systems in the types of pedagogies that impart 21st century skills and integrate digital throughout the learning and teaching process to prepare young people through secondary education is needed. In the Leading Teaching and Learning Together program, VVOB collaborated with our government partners, the Rwanda Basic Education Board, the University of Rwanda College of Education represented, to strengthen professional development for school leaders, particularly in the field of STEM. This was done through co-designing, implementing, and monitoring 2 certified CPD programs. Those CPD programs are certified through the University of Rwanda, and these are for school leaders and teachers, and they were complemented by peer learning communities at the sector and at the school level, so at the decentralized levels. Through strengthening their competences, they are in turn prepared to deliver the high-quality secondary education and impart the 21st century skills for learners, for our learners, as they transition out of the secondary education system. Working in partnership with ministries of education on system change is VVOB's fundamental approach. That is how we do it. By building the capacity of institutional actors of the system, this ensures that programs like these can be taken to scale. The program implementation did come with challenges. I think we can all think back 2 years ago where we were when Patient Zero was announced in our various countries. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic shook the world and disrupted education systems. I see some of you nodding. I think you can remember that. Hence, our program implementation was disrupted and interrupted. Pre-pandemic, the CPD design and delivery relied heavily on in-person trajectories. However, this disruption led to innovation. In disruption lay the opportunity for greater investment in digitization of CPD systems and in digital skilling of our teachers and school leaders. I am pleased to say that although accelerated, pushed by the pandemic, CPD programs were adapted, redesigned, and are now delivered online and in blended modalities. The way we learn is increasingly digital, and through this program, e-learning for school leaders, online and in blended formats, is a reality. At this juncture, I must emphasize that as we take on the benefits of education technology, the gender and digital divide should not escape our attention. And so, as we end this program, much loved program, some of the tangible achievements and tools that will now strengthen the education sector, especially through digital platforms, will be displayed in an exhibition at the back of the room. That's where you see the tables. It is our recommendation that these tools become institutionalized to widen access and be used as a basis to scale nationwide beyond the 14 intervention districts of this program. And from the various booths, you'll see the school improvement plan, which we've digitized, a digital data ecosystem that is going to strengthen M&E and tracking of impact of the CPD programs. We have a school leadership assessment tool. In Rwanda, we have 5 standards for school leaders, but we also now are able to assess those school leadership implementation. We have a self-study package. The program didn't reach all school leaders and teachers, so we also developed a self-study package, which means even aspiring new school leaders coming into the system have a starting point. So this self-study package gives them 6 sessions through which they can strengthen school leadership in schools. We also piloted, innovated. We had conversational learning through WhatsApp chatbots, which are going to also be displayed, and also a flipped CPD. Through the panel discussion later, the voices of the direct beneficiaries of the program, Rwanda Basic Education Board, University of Rwanda, head teachers, sector officials, and even a STEM subject leader will facilitate our understanding of the ripple effect of the impact from national to the school level. I'm looking forward to that. But beyond this closing event at 2 p.m. today, we as VVOB look to the future. Where do we go from here? Through this program, VVOB and partners piloted, we innovated and strengthened school leadership support systems. We have a proof of concept. We are ready to scale these programs, results nationwide in Rwanda. Beyond Rwanda, we have a bold ambition to take the decade-long experience of strengthening school leadership in Rwanda to the continent. We want to go to Africa. We are ready to share experiences, learn from, and start the conversation with Africa on what constitutes effective, scalable school leadership on the continent. To that end, I'm pleased to welcome our international participants from Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Canada, to name but a few who are here today, and with whom that experience sharing on advancing effective school leadership in Africa can begin. Those conversations can start this week. In closing, a word of thanks. Thank you to the MasterCard Foundation in Rwanda for the collaborative open working relationship and trusting VVOB as an implementing partner to actualize the interventions of the Leaders in Teaching program. Thank you to our implementing partners. We have been together for the last 4 years and will continue, Rwanda Basic Education Board, University of Rwanda, for this collaboration, and long may it continue. To the district, sectors, school leaders, teachers, who are really at the front line of translating the CPD courses that they partake in into practice and improve teaching and learning at the school for our learners. So many partners are here today, leading in teaching partners, UNICEF, Laterite, AIMS, IEE in the room, but also to the development partners who have fed into the work that we are doing and with whom we continue to work towards coordinating our interventions. The VVOB team in Rwanda and globally, thank you. I know that behind the scenes, a lot has gone into preparing even this event. Thank you for that. And finally, to the Ministry of Education. Thank you for the long-term partnership that VVOB has with the ministry since 2003. I was a baby then. And the enabling policy environment that underpins our work. I'm not willing to provide any evidence. Just take it that I was a baby. I was a young person. Okay, so Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, thank you so much for accepting our invitation, for being open to our invitation, and for joining us today and meeting our various guests. I welcome you to give the opening remarks. Thank you, Murakoze Chane.
Yes, let me first confirm that I'm negative. The country head of the MasterCard Foundation in Rwanda, country program manager of VVOB Rwanda, representatives of the Ministry of Education, representatives of education development partners organizations, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. It is a great pleasure and honor to meet with you all at the closing of the Leading, Teaching, and Learning Together program. I'm happy to share my opening remarks on the closing of this important program that has been under implementation since 2018 by VVOB Rwanda in partnership with the Ministry of Education through affiliated institutions, particularly Rwanda Education Board and University of Rwanda College of Education. Allow me also to express my gratitude to the Belgian government and the MasterCard Foundation for having supported the implementation of the program in 20 districts of Rwanda. Your contribution to enhance the quality of teaching and learning in Rwanda is highly appreciated. The objective of leading teaching and learning together program was to continue promoting the quality of basic education through enhancing school leadership and setting up the induction system for new teachers, focusing mainly on advancing the implementation of the competence-based curriculum while supporting the improvement of learning outcomes, especially in STEM for girls. This is well aligned with most of the priorities of education sector plan that we have, which is going to be completed very soon in 2024. The continuous professional development support to the heads of schools and new teachers, particularly for aligned with the education sector priorities number 2, number 3, and number 4. Today, we are here to celebrate and reflect on the key achievements and the impact of this collaborative program. I recognize the support of the MasterCard Foundation that enabled the implementation of the Leading Teaching Learning Together program in 14 districts in secondary education, with a particular focus on the enhancing STEM for girls. I also recognize the Belgian government that supported the initial implementation of the program in 6 districts with focus on primary education. The implementation of the competence-based curriculum while supporting the improvement of the students' learning outcomes in STEM for girls could not have been improved without this support. Ladies and gentlemen, this would not be an easy task for the Ministry of Education without the support of all of you here present. That is why I want also to recognize the role played by Rwanda Education Board, as well as the University of Rwanda, the College of Education. I want to say that much has been done and is still ongoing. However, we need to strengthen the collaboration again in the education sector to find more solutions to the numerous challenges that are affecting the quality of education, as you all know. I want to extend my remarks to all those that benefited from the program, including school leaders and teachers, by requesting them to consider using properly all the skills and the attitudes they acquired from different capacity building initiatives under this program, which we are celebrating today. To conclude, I wish to congratulate VVOB, Rwanda Basic Education Board, and the University of Rwanda College of Education for the successful implementation of the program, which according to the program evaluation report has contributed to improving teaching and learning processes through improved school leadership as a condition for improved learning outcomes. We hope to see this collaboration scaled up to empower all the school leaders and teachers in Rwanda and beyond in Africa with the competencies they need to lead teaching, learning in schools, and ultimately equip young people with the skills and competencies to succeed in the 21st century. I therefore declare the closing event for LTLT program officially open and wish you all successful meeting discussions. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our guest of honor, for the rich opening statement. I think the design of this podium was based on Julius's high tone. Otherwise, if you're beyond me, you'll have problems. Okay, there's a slight change on the agenda. We're going to have a photo for table 1, and we'll quickly come back here for the next agenda items. But meanwhile, we shall have some video playing here for the audience to follow. Okay, Etienne, ready? Table 1 only. We still have another group photo, I think, at almost the end of the program for the whole team. Okay, sorry, there's some change again. So we're going to have a group photo for all of us here, right? So I think the paparazzis can guide that. I'm not good at guiding photos. How do we stand or sit? No one joining this side? Okay. Okay, let's continue. I now want to invite Solange for her presentation on key achievements and impact for LT program.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm Solange Mkairanga, VVOB Education Manager. It is my great pleasure to present to you our achievements and the impact. And I'm glad that it is today it is allowed to repeat what others have just said, but using PowerPoint presentation. It is an important day. Even after me, it is the same story, achievement. Yeah. As you can see, this is a Leading Teaching and Learning Together program. As you can see there is Leaders in Teaching Mastercard Foundation. We have Belgium. We have there also, it is an umbrella of different programs, Leading Teaching and Learning Together, where we have the fund of government, Belgium government in primary education, and Elma Foundation. But today we are focusing on Leaders in Teaching and Secondary Education, funded by Mastercard Foundation. Yeah, the overview of this program, we will focus on 3 main points: the background of Leaders in Teaching program in secondary education, achievements of the program, and impact at the level of beneficiaries. As you can see there, the program aimed to continue promoting quality of basic education through enhancing school leadership and setting up induction system for newly teachers. Why those 2 pillars? Leaders in Teaching has 4 pillars, but we will be focused on 2 pillars: lead and teach. The ultimate goal is to improve learning outcome, but how? Through improved teaching, through improved leading, and improved CPD. You will see later how improved CPD through professional learning communities, maybe professional learning communities, communities of practice, PLCs, and COPs. And we are celebrating achievements because of a good partnership with our partners, University of Rwanda College of Education and Rwanda Basic Education Board, starting from January 2018 until December 2021. But with support, of course, of Mastercard Foundation, this project was, extension was allowed just for 6 months. In the 6 months, what was achieved? It was about redevelopment of our modules, integrating feedback from trainees, collaboration with other partners, coordination to ensure alignment, and dissemination. We have many achievements from research, so on. So as you can see, this program, it is a program implemented in 14 districts in secondary education. Achievement of this program, Leaders in Teaching, in 4 months. Yeah, Okay, thank you for this team, technology. Yeah, as you can, as you can see, there is a reach of the program. Impact, it is not just numbers, but behind numbers, we have a good story. We have different cohorts, as you can see. As Marianne said in her welcome remarks, we have two certified CPD, diploma in effective school leadership, and beneficiaries are head teachers, deputy head teachers, and district education officers. District education officials, because we have DDEs, district directors of education, and district education officials. And we also have a CPD coaching and mentoring for school-based mentors and sector education officials. They are the ones who organize CPD at school level. And education mentorship and coaching for STEM teachers. And as you can see, there is numbers, our reach, but if you see about gender, females are few, but it is not because of selection, but it is the reality at the ground. Females are not yet many in the education system, especially in secondary where we have science. Here where we see 23% and the 25%, it is a strategy that we adopt in the last, in the third cohort to ensure that we increase numbers of girls' participation in the program. Okay. And our achievement in terms of system strengthening, also, it is good to repeat what others said, yeah, as Marianne said, VVOB approach, it is to strengthen government systems. As you can see there, we have approved the rules and the regulations for continuous professional development program in education. Approved the rules and the regulation, it is not achievement, but achievement, it is what is behind. As you already know, during this COVID pandemic, it was not possible to organize a summative assessment in online modality because there was no these rules and regulations. But together with URCE, we managed to develop and approve these regulations. They are here in place, in use, which means that anyone here present, any partner, can organize online CPD and assess the learning. Approved 5 standards, 5 profession standards for effective school leadership. As PS said, this is a key entry point. They play an important role, school leaders. So we have those 5 standards. By those 5 standards, they clarify the attitude, knowledge, and also values for a good school leader. So they are in place. All schools, they have those standards. But is it sufficient to have standards? No. They need assessment tool to assess their practice. So VVOB, together with the REB and URCE, have developed those assessment tools. They are in place and will be very soon uploaded to REB website. We also have school leadership self-study package. We have also a presentation later in book. You will learn more about that. Other achievements, VVOB supported school leadership recruitment. And this is achievement because, as you already know, around 28,000 teachers have been recruited. So this, the guide supported in this process. Initiated and maintained professional learning communities for school leaders. and the community of practices. Those are the professional learning communities. They are in place. They are, they are operational. We also have an enabling online environment where we have provided laptops to teachers countrywide in all schools, around 3,000, and also 391 laptops have been distributed to newly constructed schools. E-tutoring course for URCE facilitator, of course, to enable them, to support them to teach using online modality. As you can see, digital literacy for teachers and digital school improvement plan was developed together with the URCE. I will have time to know more about this digital school improvement plan, digitalized tool, which is already at REB website, but not digitalized. It's paper-based. Developed a digital data ecosystem for planning, monitoring, and evaluation for CPD. You will learn more about this. It is important because it is an important tool because we are now able to monitor CPD. You will learn more about that later. About setting up an induction system for newly qualified teachers. Yes, having a policy brief, it is not just an achievement, but achievement. It is because now teachers, school leaders are supporting even school-based mentors, trained school-based mentors. They are initiating, they are inducting new teachers. More about 28,000 new teachers. They benefited from this induction system. And the impact at the level of beneficiaries, as you can see, 92% new teachers reporting high intrinsic motivation to conduct main teaching role. You know, intrinsic motivation, important one. And 92%, high number. 99% head teachers and deputy head teachers reporting high competence in applying the 5 standards of school leadership. Yes, because they have those standards in place, but also these assessment tools that help them to know how to use those standards. 93% SEIs, is sector education inspectors, reporting high confidence to coach and mentor head teachers. This is organized at sector level, professional learning communities. 95% school with a formal induction program for new teachers, and 95% heads of departments who report high ability to coach and mentor new STEM teachers. Importance of induction system. We have also changes in school leadership. As you can see, there is testimonies for school head teachers and even new qualified teachers. But as you can see, changes at school level, better work environment, distributed leadership approach that engage relevant stakeholders in decision making, and we also have increased student motivation and incentive to increase performance. Those are changes at school leadership level. Changes in teacher support. As you can see, there is a testimonies we can read, but there is, as a short, we have school-based mentors. They are confident to lead continuous professional development within their schools. System strengthening. They are at school, they can organize CPD. More confidence in induction program. As I said, we have many teachers have been recruited, more than 28,000. They are benefiting from this induction. Improved quality of support provided to teachers, and also more collaborative engagement Without collaboration, environment is not conducive. So all those are evidence that shows us enabling environment that contribute to quality education. Oh my God, it is not working. Okay, thank you. And about changes in learning networks, we have two networks, communities of practices and the professional learning communities. About communities of practices, COPs, as you can see, there is improved teaching practices and the lesson planning, which is very important. Those who come, the newcomers, they are supported, they are confident. And this contributes to teacher retention. Collaboration, confidence, yes, of course. And about professional learning communities, as you can see, PLCs help achieve sector education priorities. Sector education inspectors, they are there implementing education at sector level. They are the ones who monitor education. So these professional learning communities help them achieve sector education priorities. And PLC allow head teachers to learn from each other, collaboration. Yes, we strengthen systems, we support teachers' trainings, but there is also a recommendation, advocacy. Yeah, we ensure to ensure alignment and coordination with the other development partners working in school leadership and coaching and mentoring. This was among the 5 key priorities during this period of 60 months extension. Coordination, yes, we have started with different partners to align communities of practices and professional learning communities. But still, because we have many partners who are supporting school leadership and mentorship and coaching, and we are targeting all same beneficiaries, so we still need alignment. And just not alignment, but for as PS is here, what is important also, we train, partners are supporting, training, system strengthening, commitment of our beneficiaries, accountability. Accountability is very important. So, murakoze.
Thank you very much, Solange, for the presentation on the impact. Quite a number of things have been done, and we can celebrate. I wish also to add on something to do with, I think Hod is here, is my witness, that one of the mandatory CPD courses at REP now, there is the EMC course. There's no need to redevelop or develop that. VVOB has contributed under support of Mascard Foundation. And the Ministry of Education, REB, or even URC, in the 14 districts, you can now run a fully online branded course because we have addressed the issue of access and accessibility. So moving forward, this is something to celebrate. In the folders, there is a brochure that has some more details. I understand being presented for the first time, you may have so many questions, or maybe in distance of time, there was some speed. There's a brochure that has building change by reading teaching, overview of key achievements. So you can read that at your own opportune time. We are now going to have a very interesting session that builds on what Solange has been presenting, which is a panel discussion. And I want now to invite Dr. Michael Tsime, the moderator for this session, to take the floor and invite other panelists. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you, Julius. Thank you, everyone. I also take this opportunity to welcome you here. I know someone did earlier, but just welcome you for this session. And well, I think the country program manager, VVOB, earlier talked about the ripple effect of this program. I quoted that, very strong statement. And you're going to be listening to the voices that express that ripple effect from the national level to the actual classrooms where I would love to see the impact take place. Now, the leaders in teaching responds to the opportunities that secondary school teachers need to transform classrooms into avenues of social transformation to the students, to their communities, and to the nation at large. There possibly are no people better to tell us about this, apart from the national stakeholders. VVOB, very important that you got in rep. We're going to invite in Mr. Leon. We're going to invite in Dr. Alphonse, who actually is representing our dear principal, URCE. Thank you for taking that honorable call. That you get invited to the podium here and we get business going. Now, as they take the podium, I'm going to read the rules. Yes, the house rules. Take the first, then Alphonse the next. Now, it's going to be like this. Now, these gentlemen have huge bios. In the interest of time, I may not go through their bios. Find them, please, in your folders. They are this color and this colorful. So please, and when they are talking, please, you may not actually read the bios now. Just throw an eye there at some point so that you get to listen to what they are saying. Thank you. Now, this panel is also into two phases. There is the first phase, the duty bearers, that is VVOB and URCE. And later you'll get to see three other great colleagues who actually are going to be telling us or getting their voices to us from the schools. Now, Mr. Leo, ensuring quality education and teaching and learning is one of the most strategic investments that Africa, that Rwanda has made, so that schools are transformed. And when we talk about transformation, we talk about school leaders too. Being the head of department for the teacher development and professionalization at Rwanda Education Board, from the government perspective, how do you describe an effective school leader? And how do you make a connection between that effective school leader and the objectives of this LTLT program?
Yes, thank you very much, Mike. I would like just to start by saying hi to everyone. I'm very happy also to be part of this panel. First of all, perhaps it has been highlighted that REB, with different partners, VVOB, developed a 5 standard for school, for effective school leadership. And I'm very happy that in that time, when we started this program, LTLT program, yes, I was not effectively in VVOB as an organization, but I'm the one of the members or team who develops some concepts, notes of this program. So I'm very happy that with the former program manager, Jeff, we were together in 2017 in that time. Now, the program started in January 2018. So for this question, I would like to highlight that developing 5 standards for effective school leadership, it was one step. And to describe or to define a school leader, it's really a school leader who now knows how to set direction of the school or vision of the school. A school leader is one who knows reading, teaching, reading, learning, but also a school leader is the one who knows exactly learning or reading a school as an organization or a school sources effectively. And finally, a school leader is one who now knows how to collaborate with parents or the wider community. So I think from the government perspective, we should have that school leader able to perform against those 5 standards for effective school leadership. So this program now, I'm very happy that as the head of the Department of Teacher Development and Management, Mike, I'm coming from Musanze now, we are recruiting again more school leaders. I really like the program on induction of new recruit teachers. Unfortunately, when we started to recruit, we started mass recruitment for teachers, that program was ended. And I'm always discuss with the program, country program manager that we should have really that program again for induction of new school teachers. And for this specific year, we will have more than 12,500 new teachers, new recruit teachers. So I think we will be supported a lot on induction of those new recruit teachers, but also training our school leaders. But what I'm asking myself every time when I'm discussing with the school leaders, because we know the role of the school leaders, I ask the question, I need change at the school level. And they know that those school leaders have been trained. And perhaps what we need today from this experience for VVOB is now to align what they have learned as school leaders theoretically and what they are doing at field, on field. So practically how they make changes. I think with this program we benefited a lot, and we have now the framework, and we have those 5 standards for school leaders, and they have copies at the school level. Having copies is one thing, but implementation of what is inside is another thing. So I think that's what we think as a government institution, really to continue to work together with the different partners, specifically for those who are really interested in continuous professional development. And we are very happy that this CPD diploma course on effective school leaders or school leadership, this diploma has been developed, and now school leaders, they should normally follow this program, and we hope following the course, but also changing things at school level. That's something which can be monitored every day. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Leo. I hear you say we need change at the school level, and you say every change needs skills, resources, knowledge, and this is what this program has done. Yeah. I know you've worked closely with Dr. Alphonse and URC in general. Yeah. And if we can compliment you, Dr. Alphonse, the University of Rwanda College of Education has the mandate to prepare pre-service teachers through the LT program, and URC, in collaboration with Rwanda Education Board, VVOB developed and delivered the CPD program for teachers and school leaders. To what extent do you think the University of Rwanda College of Education has been impacted by LT program in terms of development, in terms of its capacity to deliver its mandate, in your view?
Thank you, Mike. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yeah. Going straight to your question, and based on what the head of the department, TDM, said, this collaboration with VVOB played the key role on impacting not only on final beneficiaries who are head teachers or school leaders, but also to URC staff. First of all, about 80% of URC academic staff participated to this program in one way or another, especially through development and conducting the training. That is really something we can be proud for. So when developing a given program, it is not as simple as it is. You need to plan, to check who are beneficiaries, and you deliver. In addition to what their normal task of searching, editing, whatever I do. So they got skills in developing a CPD program, which is currently online, as Madame Solange said. And the program can again be beneficial for others. And the program is actually editable as it is digitalized now. And URC staff have that capacity. And when it comes also to conduct the training, when you are training people, you get more skills, you learn from them. As URC is the only one public institution that trains pre-service teachers, it is also mandate to hear from the product how they are working on the field, what challenges they are facing too. So this program also gives opportunity to our staff when they are in field visit to see what is happening there. Therefore, they can fill the gaps within the pre-service program. Actually, you can remember, you can maybe remind also our colleagues from outside, we do not have pre-service education in charge of training school leaders. A school leader is trained as a teacher. Later on, he can be appointed, or she can be appointed as school leader. So those school leaders skills, like the 5 standards we're talking about, are not yet known by our pre-service teachers. However, through that partnership, they were succeeded to develop a master's in education with specialization on school leadership. And we learn from these CPDs what content and what skills do our pre-service masters of education in school leadership need. So that is another impact played by this partnership. Another impact is also about community of practice. When we train a community to our participants to conduct a community of practices, we cannot forget to practice too. So in our college, we encourage also community of practice and professional learning communities. Another aspect also is the shift, the learning from COVID, as most of our previous rhetoricians, is it said so? Those speakers, previous speakers, mentioned, the COVID also enabled the people to be creative, where we shifted from face-to-face to online or to fully online or blended. And we're lucky to have some partners, international partners, hired by VVOB to help us to be conversant with online program. Of course, the URC as part of UR had the program of online, but the COVID pushed it so that it became really operational. So that is also another aspect we can have impact, can say impacted on our college. Most likely, and most importantly also, as Solange said, we developed rules and regulation for CPDs. Initially, when we started with the LTLT, we were borrowing rules from different programs, undergraduate, postgraduate. So it was like agatogo, if I can say in Kinyarwanda. So it was a mixture of different rules. Like each program induction could have its own role. School leadership could have its own rules. Now we have like one document whereby any partner who wish to develop or to run a CPD program has at least rules and regulations to follow. So that is another impact. So I can mention too much, but just if I stop there,
yes,
you may.
And just before you stop there, Dr. Alphonse, another question that you may want to shed light on.
Yes, please.
There's been discussions that the CPD programs have great stuff in terms of it's rich in content, in knowledge and all that. And then we train pre-service teachers, and we always say that if it were better, we could have some of these trickle down into pre-service.
Yeah.
Now, the University of Rwanda being responsible for training pre-service teachers, how much of this great CPD staff do you see mainstreamed into pre-service teachers?
Oh, great. That is a good question, and it is already addressed already. Actually, we are reviewing, the overall UR is reviewing its program, in particular the College of Education. And the reviewing program needs to hear from alumni, to hear from stakeholders. So VVOB, REB are stakeholders. Schools are our stakeholders. As I said, we know now what are required to be a good teacher, to be a good school leader, and even you go beyond. You know, you can say the college is the trainer of whoever would like to work in education. So now, during this our program, already without waiting this program review, some aspects have been incorporated in our program. I may mention a few of them, like the role of 5E model. Those who are in STEM are more knowledgeable in the 5E model. That is really an active teaching model which helps scientists to conduct their experiment or to engage students in active teaching learning. That is already in the program of teaching and the teaching method of science, though linguistics can also borrow from it. Okay. As I said, we are running the program of MED in school leadership. It was also reviewed in accordance with this content of VVOB. And we are, another issue is, another model we learn is to have a part of most of our program be online. And in this way, we are responding to overall UR goal, which is to make the 50% of your program online or at distance. So this review of the program will also include component of blended mode. We'll be emphasizing on blended mode. And yeah, that is.
Thank you, Dr. Alphonse. I asked that question because there's always a concern and a wish that most of this great stuff that we teach in CPDs can be mainstreamed into pre-service. Then you lower the cost and all that. The economists will understand me better. Now, you're going to stay here for some other reflections, but before that, I want to invite 3 more colleagues, and that is, we talked about the duty bearers, REB and URCE. We have, I don't want to call them the rate holders, but those who work in schools, those who can tell a story from a classroom experience. And we have Father Joseph Bukenya Wetase, who is a teacher at the College of Don Bosco, Dorushaki, Gicumbi district. Please be invited to the podium. The rest of his great bio, you're going to read it here. A clap as he joins us. You can also see that there is great diversity in the room, right? From the clothing and all that. So next we have Christine Mahaimana, who is a biology teacher. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Christine is a biology teacher in Senior 6 from College Saint Marie Kibuye in Karongi District, Western Province. Christine, you're most welcome. We have another panelist, Degrasse Muneza, who is a sector education inspector from Ruharambuga sector in Nyamasheke district. Now, considering the distance from Nyamasheke to here, you need more of that. Yeah, thank you so much for accepting to be panelists. Like we said, you really have great stories from the schools and from the classrooms. And we're glad that you're willing to share your perspectives. Father Bukenya, you took part in the CPD program in effective school leadership. How do you support teachers at your school? Different from how you used to support them before you got into this program. In other words, what has the program impacted you with in terms of knowledge and practices that you are able to mainstream such through your teachers and then to your students?
Thank you so much. First of all, I would say that the CPD course I took, it did not just bring completely new things, but it helped us, or even it helped me, to do better on what I already had. There are some things that we are already collected from the universities and so on, but then we did not really practice the way it had to be. In the first place, I have done my best at the Collège de Rushaki to work on the induction of new teachers. When I recall my history as a new teacher, when I started teaching, I did not get any induction. When I reached the school, oh, you know English, yeah, okay. So you get these books, you go to class. And when I became a head teacher back in 2014, I just went to the school, the bishop appointed me, you go. Yeah. I reached there, so I had to find my way out. So I remember all those challenges. What should a head teacher do? What should, all that. It was something not easy in my history. So when I went into, that definitely shows you that that is what I had to do in my practices. That when a new teacher comes, you get this, you go to class. And that's all, because I did not have much knowledge about it. But when I attended this course, I learned that a teacher has to be given a good welcome, has to feel that he's coming to a welcome environment. And it is not only for one day, it is not only for a month, but it is something that is continuous, whereby teachers, even we get to know more about them. So in a way, that is what I'm trying to do at my school. And I'm happy that I have, within these past months, I have received about 5 teachers. Each one is coming in a different, but then we are trying our best to give them good induction. And I'm happy they are feeling at home. Secondly, I would say it regards the training of teachers on new changes. Yeah, I remember in my young age, when I went to swim in a sort of pool, like mud, something like that. So I was punished severely. I hated swimming. But then, when I'm growing up, I see that swimming is even a game. It is something that, if my parents had taught me well about swimming, I would have liked it. It wouldn't be something bad. So, with the training of teachers at my school, when there is a new change, I make sure that I train them. I do my best. I'll take an example at our school. We are using the so-called Urubuto software. With this software, parents can use it to pay school fees for the student, for their children. But now we even included all teachers. Teachers can update parents as regards the progress in academics by sending them their marks, whatever, discipline, whatever, and then teachers are using that same software to make reports for the students. Before doing that, we had to make sure that we invite those who built up that software to come and train teachers. You know how it threatens even to touch a computer. Sometimes it threatens. You click here, and then the computer will stop. So if it happens like that, will the teacher like it or not? So there is sometimes a bit of resistance to use that, but now teachers are happy. Even those who are not so well versed with the technology, they are now becoming digital friends. So with that, I'm happy that I got this CPD. And probably another thing I could share with you is the sharing of responsibilities. When I attended this course, sure I had it in mind, but I wasn't confident that how can I share responsibility? I'm the head teacher. Then everything is mine. But this course really strengthened me that it is not bad at all to share responsibilities. And actually, I'm doing that. Well, let's take an example. They have talked about the COVID time. During that time, we were losing contact with our students. We were losing contact with the parents. Yet, we had to keep in touch with them. What did we do? Or what did I do? I made sure that teachers get in touch with the students. I couldn't do that all alone. That a school of 500 students that I go and reach, so I had to share. Class teachers, could you please go and make a follow-up of our students? And then, with that, another example that I'm doing, I have a teacher who is good at using, technology, and is in charge of the school management data system. So that we are working together, but they need support. How are we doing that? How am I doing that? That from the meager resources that we have, we managed to give them data so that they can contact the parents. we give them, airtime that they contact the parents. That's one way of supporting them. Now we are going for holidays. We need to still to keep in touch. We have talked about this software that we are using. I have the class teachers have to make sure the parents will be asking, this son of mine is saying I got 50%, the teacher gave me this. So class teachers, we have to support them in that way. It is, we support ourselves, but it is one way of improving. Second, lastly, if not, I learned something. During our course, we learned what they call resistance to change, things of the kind. People, it's not so easy to know what people think. But then from that, I learned how to listen, to give a listening ear to the teachers. The teachers have different challenges, both professionally and in social life. So when sometimes those challenges they face affect the learner becomes the victim if I have not listened to the teacher. So I'm doing my best to make sure, and that goes together with the induction, learning a teacher more and giving a listening ear. They are advisors. Teacher good advisors and they are good counselors. And when we give them, I give them a listening ear, I get more and more. So in a way, when they hear that, oh, our head teacher is listening to us, it is one way to support. Lastly, I learned something, a magic behind all good performance. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you.
I've not said that I have finished, but when I say thank you to a teacher, it is a support. When a teacher does something good, and I say, thank you, Teacher Christy. Thank you, Teacher Joseph. The next day, you'll see good performance. As a result, I'm seeing progress at our school, even in the performance of our students. I just give an example. Last year, for the 7-8 years I have spent there, we got, I think, the best performance ever. The O-level, ordinary level, senior 3 students, out of the 65, 62 were in the first division. And that is coming from...
Congratulations for that also.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And advanced level, yeah, our school is rural, but then at least we got over 1073, those who got the government, bursaries. So I think that is from all that we have got from this support, the CPD, and also the support I give to teachers. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Yeah, I mean, one of the critical components of this program is a specific module on instructional leadership, and you can't possibly be an instructional leader without listening to the teachers, because those are critical agents of change. I just had to mention that and emphasize it. We can't thank you more, but keep doing the good work. Next to Christine Muhaimana, who is a STEM school subject leader. You participated too in the CPD program on educational mentorship and coaching. What did you change in your teaching practices, and how has such a change impacted the students? I know you can do it within 4 minutes, I trust.
Yeah, thank you. After participating in the CPD program, I changed many things in my teaching program, in my teaching practice, concerning on the way of preparing the lesson and how to deliver it. Recently, I used to deliver the lesson with more lecturing methods. But now, I get a way of engaging the students by providing practices, using teaching aids. As other mentions, from the CPD, we thought about the 5 E's instruction model. It is a model that helps the students to be engaged within the lesson, where a teaching aid or any improvised material have to be used. I bring a simple example of a teaching aid, which is very simple to be made. Even the students can make themselves. For example, I'm a biology teacher. When you go and teach a breathing mechanism, for example, instead of going telling stories, theories about inhalation and exhalation, it is simple to use the local material to explain the process simply.
We're going to breathe.
Yeah, breathing mechanism. It is difficult to find out the human lungs and you bring it even in the class. But simply, there are some materials that you can bring and then can help the student to understand what you want to teach them. I bring, this is a balloon, and this is a bottle, near bottle, any bottle, water bottle, that are rejected in everywhere in our local area. I bring, this is...
just polythene paper, just...
Yeah.
We see that.
And there is...
Rubber band?
Rubber band. By this, I made... By using this, I made this material to explain how inhalations and exhalation is done. Instead of coming telling stories, theories, how inhalation is, simply by making the activities, there are the changes that are there in this material. The students themselves, they manipulate, I don't know, when they do this. On this teaching aids, this material, it represents the diaphragm for the human. The balloon represents the lungs. Now this plastic bottle, it represents the cavity, thoracic cavity. Then, when the diaphragm, for example, is contracted, now the lungs become large, the air enter within it. Then, when the diaphragm turns into its position, now exhalation takes place. This is a simple example that I bring.
Thank you.
Not only this, I found out in any lesson you can make a teaching aid. It is simple. What we have learned within this CPD, using the teaching aids or any other activities for the students, it increases the interest for them, for the students, to study science and become active within the lesson. By changing the teaching methods and the way of delivering it, of course, they have an impact on the student learning. When the teaching
methods is done well, of course, the student performance, it have to be improved. In my subject of biology, when I make an analysis, I found out their grade is already changed, not only in formative assessment, but also in national examination marks. They get more grades in biology lesson. There is no failure in my biology lesson in examination.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll come back to you possibly. Do you have any other remark or later? Yeah, thank you so much. That's the power of active learning methods, demonstration. I believe that most of us here work in the education sector, and that's it. A 40-minute lesson completed in 4 good minutes. And people, the power of retention. So thank you so much, Christine. We go to our great friend, DeGrasse, the sector education inspector. You've also participated in this program. How does the PLCs, those are professional learning communities, how does the PLC support the teachers to become more resilient, especially in ensuring effective teaching and learning, from your perspective, given that you oversee many teachers anyway?
Thank you.
Welcome.
PLC, as you say, it serves as a platform where school leaders meet together and rotating in different schools, not rotating only, but observing how they lead teaching and learning activity, but also by sharing the best practices to improve the school management, but also as well as leading well the teaching and learning activities. So in a different session of PLCs that you attend, we focus more on how to lead well the teaching and the learning activity by sharing those best practices that we see in different schools. In that way, we focus more on CBC by engaging more the student in their lessons, but also how to motivate teachers as well as learning in order to perform well. So in that case, I'm pleased to announce that with those practices we have and support and monitoring, I saw that in one of the schools in my sector has improved their student performance, where we have 8 over 32 students who performs well in national exams with first division or first grade from only 2 students in the previous years. It is good that we got from those PLC sessions. Through PLC sessions also, the head teacher benefit more in improving their capacity building to be aware and motivate well how they can help and support the teachers and leading teaching and learning activity, but also needed to improve the student performance. As well as with PLC also, school leaders collaborate and elaborate together the plan of activities which also engage more in leading teaching activities, but also distributing well the task to the school staff, but also in the good management of the school. With this also, I saw that in my sector, one of the priority that we are dealing with in these PLC sessions was a high level of dropout rate that we have in some schools. By analyzing the causes and proposing the solution and measures together, like house-to-house sensitization, involvement of local leaders and the local community, involving all stakeholders that we have in education, creating an attractive school environment, and also close follow-up and daily attendance with those measures and monitoring in the implementation of this. We saw that we released that the dropout cases decreased significantly, where in some of the school we have only 9 students who is out from 51 students who was out of the school. And also we are keeping doing to overcome all cases of dropout in our sector in different schools. Thank you.
Thank you. You end on a very key message, the dropout, which is a key concern. We talked about delegation, working with communities. I hope that we've all got the communities involved so that we fight this malaise. Thank you so much. And I know in VVOB, one of the modules or one of the sections, if I remember, is time management. There's a question that you're going to answer, but you can only answer it in 1 minute or less if you can. You talked about the great staff, from the teachers, the duty bearers, University of Rwanda. What is it that you're going to do so that all the good things that you mentioned are sustained, especially that we are closing this program? What strategies have you laid so that the good stuff that you mentioned is sustained? Use 1 minute. If you may. I start with Mr. Leo. I get the power to delegate, to also instruct now.
Yes, working together and really monitoring and evaluation of what has been done. That will be only one strategy to sustain or for sustainability of what VVOB has done with this program. So we hope with all efforts, and I'm very happy that teachers are really proud, and for sure we are more proud than them. Thank you.
Working together and close monitoring of the progress and preserving the gains. Dr. Alphonse.
We know, we learn from REB, we learn from school leaders, challenges they are facing too. As academicians, we develop a mechanism to face those challenges. That is one strategy. Another strategy is to...
CPD, I can't do myself, but I have to share with what I got with my fellow teacher, and then continue practicing those activities to encourage our learners to study STEM subject well. Thank you.
Building the teacher's capacity through peer learning and perhaps making more contextualized teaching and learning materials. We still need to breathe. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And our sector education officer, Degrace.
Thank you. As sector education officer, we are going to emphasize and conduct joint training with all stakeholders in education. Also, we need to focus on a good planning of the activities that related to the leading teaching activities. Finally, we have to monitor the implementation and ownership of the measures that are taken together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's one word they all mentioned: planning, planning, and planning. Planning, ownership, sharing of experiences. We have one question for the audience, gentlemen and ladies, and the order of the wording is intentional. We have one question for you, and I think we all are into it together. How do you think school leaders can be supported further to effectively lead teaching and learning? And I know they alluded to many points here, but we also believe that you work in different capacities, you have different levels of philosophies and focus. We want to listen from you. How better do you think school leaders can be supported better in addition to what they said? Please feel free to raise up your hand. Yes, Mr. Patrick, I see you, and then I see another colleague. Now that he has the microphone, he goes first, and then you come next. say your name and then your contribution.
Thank you very much. My name is James Ndlebe. I'm the Director of Leadership and Management at the National Department of Education in South Africa. Listening to the speakers and how I wish we could support them, I don't want to come up with an immediate answer, but it's what I heard about preparations and preparations. From the speakers, we learned that as Africa, we tend to prepare principals when there are principals already. I think it's important for us to take a step back and prepare them in advance. That actually means we need to start identifying those teachers that have potential to become principals and select them and take them through the very same course that they have gone through. I mean, he's discovering these new ideas when he's about to retire. It would have been very important that we prepare him in advance before he even gets in there. So select the best of the teachers, take them through the process, then build a pool of capable, prominent, those who want to become principals, and select the best from them. The next stage will be try and enrich your selection process, because there are too many people that get through the gaps and become principals when they are not principal material. So train them in advance, then put up a proper selection process that will only take the best to become principals. Then you can lead by coming up with a proper induction program. I'm just saying you're closing now, but these are things that you can do in the future. Build up a proper induction program for those that you have selected. Then you can begin supporting them. The inspectorate's role then becomes to support those that you have selected. Then you come up with continuous programs of training, your PLCs, as they are working. Then build up an evaluation system, an assessment system to show that they are doing exactly what they need to do. Then the cycle continues. And we need to put that in place for a period of time so that as Africa, we are catching up with those that prepare people in advance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your intervention. Thank you. I think one of the critical reasons for this program was the understanding that most of the teachers, the school leaders, were not trying to be school leaders, and that's why VVOB has been trying to bridge this gap. But your point's very taken, and you are speaking the right audience. My colleague on the left here is the head of the Teacher Management and Professionalization Rwanda Education Board. These ideas that perfection is not a journey, it's not an event, it's a journey. We work towards that. Points taken. I hope they can be modified. Who knows, there could be a policy on exactly what you just said in the near future about advanced training for potentially going to be school leaders. Thank you so much. Well, I'm also reminded, sir, that we are with the Permanent Secretary, Minedik, and who knows, there are people in the audience who are ready to grab the message. Mr. Patrick.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Patrick Musafiri, Senior Education Technical Specialist from Save the Children. One of the ways to support our school leaders continue to the great work they're doing is by thanking them for the great work already done. Tell them thank you, as Father suggested. That's going to encourage them. The second thing, they should be provided with all the resources they need to be able to do their job and be given space to make the right decisions for their respective schools. Thank you.
Acknowledge what they do. Give them space. We have 1 minute left. Who takes that 1 minute? Yes, I'm reminded we could be generous and have 3 so that we listen to people more. We have, I'm going to call you a lady, smart lady there. I don't know your name, but you can let us know. Microphone, please. Oh, you have the microphone already. Yeah. Okay, go fast. Use 1 minute. or less if you can.
Thank you for the sessions. My name is Elias from Ethiopia, Kotew University, professor in school leadership. The researchers indicate that the effective school leadership is directly linked with the achievement of school students. So that, in my experience, we have to protect and focus on the school leadership assignment. In our country, the assignment of school leaders are highly related with political interference. Those who have affiliated with the government political member, they are assigned directly for school leaders. I think the government of Rwanda and the school system should protect and should not interfere in the assignment of the school leaders based on the political affiliations. It should be based on merit-based. That is the main issue to protect and to progress the school leaders. As those of you said that the continent's professional skills come after the selection of the leaders, so we have to protect our leaders and give free to use their style of leadership, whether it is transformational, whether it is distributive, whether it is instructional. Yep. We have to give the school for school leaders and focus on these issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think you make a very important point that school leaders should be seen to the extent they promote student learning outcomes, and failure short of that, it would remain a statement. Thank you so much. Okay, so this lady on the microphone.
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead,
my name is Priscilla Morley, and I'm with the Trevor Noah. I'm the Director of Programs at the Trevor Noah Foundation, also based in South Africa. I think in addition to this, educators need psychosocial support themselves. And psychosocial support, not just only in the form of a network of people they can speak to, but also to deal with the issues they're going through. Educators have a lot, specifically in South Africa. There's an educator now, a nurse, a social worker, a mother. There's a lot that they have to do. And in order for them to become effective, I think we need to start looking at how we support them psychosocially too.
Yeah. You can only be a good leader when you are supported psychosocially, if I may. But we are going to have two people. You have one gentleman there, and then we have one colleague here, and then we wrap up this. Sorry, that's the timing that we are given. If you can use 1 minute, that would be great, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Maurice Odondo, Director, Kenya Education Management Institute, a capacity building agency for the Ministry of Education in Kenya. One more important issue which we really have to entrench is to make this learning lifelong for our teachers. For the period that we serve, for the period that we transform and spearhead positive learning outcomes, we must make it lifelong learning for all of us, the teachers and the school leaders. And even the aspect of undertaking assessment for the school leaders and the teachers, it needs to be emphatic on competencies. We just assess it on competency-based. That is for the skills and the values that are desired in these particular areas. And more and last issue is to undertake periodic appraisal. We need to take periodic appraisal as school leaders to assess to what extent have we been able to spearhead the key issues of concern in leadership. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Context change, we need to align our practices with the changes too, and especially the school leaders and the education environment that changes as often. We have, sorry, your name?
Thank you. My name is Rika. I'm with the MasterCard Foundation.
Perfect.
Maybe to add to, I think, the support, the psychosocial, one of the things that I heard the panelists say, and even the presentation before, was the gender gap. Yeah. And so I think emphasizing and trying to see how can we have more female school leaders, female teachers, and I think why I link it to the social psycho support is that the realities and the barriers for women is much bigger. So being intentional, and maybe also supporting school leaders to understand how best can they motivate the female teachers, you know, given their realities, because they face more barriers than most men. So I think that would be one way to support as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Well said. Can't add anything on that. Getting in the female teachers as well, especially the school leaders. We have teachers, but I mean, if you do some census, you'll find very few of the school leaders being female, and it's critically important that we give it a thought. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's what we had time for. I would like to invite you to give a round of applause to our panelists. It was great while you stayed. Leo, you want another question?
But for the question for female school leaders,
yes,
I would like to let you know that we are doing our best in our recruitment. Normally, when female and male have the same marks, results, first of all, we place female. So it's actually based on performance, but we'll look at very seriously. I understand the question. But for teachers, I think we have more female in primary school, pre-primaries. So we'll continue to do our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, okay? Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you, thank you. Say it again? Yeah, sure, do please, as we close. Just a microphone so that I hope you are well understood, Leo.
I can use my teacher voice.
Yes.
My name is Matt Lopez from the University of Toronto. My area is in, I'm actually from Jamaica, Turtle.
Can we kindly use the mic so that I think we get to listen to you? No, they're giving you one.
Sorry, I just quickly wanted to say that we have done research with school leaders, and particularly the area of gender came up. And I just quickly want to say, just to name a few of the things that they shared with us as barriers to why there were so few women in leadership at the secondary school level, both in Kenya and in Jamaica. And one of the first things they said was that there's a lack of role model and lack of mentoring support. There is need for intentional support, and that the space that they were working in, that it all the time was not necessarily conducive to their status in life as women. They had family responsibilities that they had to take into account with their school leadership responsibilities, that there was not necessarily training geared towards them, and that they, in their early years as teachers and as women teachers, because there was a gap between the number of women in teaching versus the women who ended up going into leadership. So they were not seen as intentionally leadership material, and that they were not supported on their career trajectories as women. So I just wanted to share those. Those came directly from women school leaders, both in Jamaica and Kenya, from our research to help you as you think through ways that we can close the gap. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, we can't exhaust all the insights. Carry them on as you go to your lunch break, etc. Get engaged, talk to a friend. I think this is business unfinished. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much, our panelists. We can leave this podium.
Thank you so
much. Thank you very much, Michael, for a very nice moderation. And thank you very much, our distinguished panelists, for the rich information you shared. I mean, when you speak, we have to brief because you're in schools. At this juncture, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, here, it's my humble privilege and honor to invite the country head, Muscat Foundation, Rika.
Honorable Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Marianne, VVOB Director, distinguished guests. This is exciting. It's very difficult to speak after a very insightful panel. At the MasterCard Foundation, we're very, very excited to be here. The work that VVOB has done has played an important role in the Leaders in Teaching Initiative Network, and they spoke to that a little bit earlier, and contributed to the Lead and the Teach pillar, focusing especially on improving school leadership. To date, a total of 809 head teachers, 545 deputy head teachers have been trained in effective school leadership in 14 districts. A total of 228 sector education inspectors, 1,253 school-based mentors, 1,522 STEM and math school subject leaders have been trained in educational mentorship and coaching. And the reason I'm being precise on the numbers is that these are not just numbers, these are individuals that have been impacted by the program. This intervention has resulted in an increase in skills, confidence, efficiency, and motivation among the education actors. And I think on the panel, it was exciting to see the motivation as they share their different insights and what they've been able to achieve. Therefore, there's a more enabling teaching environment which we are confident will improve the learner's experience. And we also heard from different interventions that there is a link. I think somebody from Kenya did talk, or Ethiopia, I'm not sure, but did talk about the link with the learner's experience being improved when the school leadership and the teachers' skills are also improved. Distributed leadership across the education ecosystem was strengthened. And this was done thanks to working with REB, the Rwanda Education Board, URCE, to support CPD and the education actors. We also, the program has also contributed to multiple digital tools that have been developed. I think maybe not at the panel, but earlier Marianne spoke to the importance of digital. And today with what COVID has shown us and where the world is going, it's very important to be able to use the digital tools to enable efficiency in what we do. And so some of the highlights, we have the Digital Improvement Plan, which aimed at encouraging school leaders to regularly monitor teaching and learning practices and collect data for school improvement. This has been developed by VVOB in partnership with Laterite, another Leaders in Teaching partner. Secondly, digital data ecosystem aimed at evaluating the LT program participants based on reaction, learning, behavior, and results. Thirdly, the school leadership assessment tool, which was also spoken about, which was developed to assess the performance of schools. Fourthly, self-study package for effective school leadership was also touched on, which is a 6-hour introductory e-course on the 5 professional standards of effective school leadership, and is accessible to anyone to learn. So beyond the 14 districts, these programs are available for all the schools across the country. And finally, conversational learning pilot, which makes every learning activity as simple as a conversation through WhatsApp bot. We are really, really thankful for the partnership with VVOB, which has been key even during the pandemic. It wasn't talked about, but during the pandemic, VVOB was able to serve beyond the 14 districts, and they proposed and implemented a COVID-19 response, enabling schools, education actors in 30 districts to continue their continuous professional development online, CPD. And for that, we are also very grateful. And finally, Honorable Permanent Secretary, all of you here, I just want to express our deep gratitude for the great collaboration that we've had, and I believe we'll continue to have, to ensure that these great stories that we heard today is just the beginning, and this is a continuous process. I think the MC said it's not an event, it's a journey. And as the MasterCard Foundation, we are committed to continue to walk the journey with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rika. I like the last statement. It's a promise, actually. It's a good message, I can say. Okay, yeah. We are almost there. We're going to have an exhibition which will basically bring out what has been said here, but more clearly. And at this juncture, allow me to invite my colleague Riva to give the instruction on the next phase of this session.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, good morning, everybody. As we are waiting for the right slide, let me take this opportunity to greet you. Yambo, Maramutse. Bonjour, Dumela, Molo, More, Goeiemorgen, good morning. We are so happy to be here. We've listened to a lot of things, and it's time that we stop listening to people talking, but that you also see some things in practice. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to ask you in a few minutes to stand up, stretch your legs, stretch, not yet. I first have to give the instruction, right? We are going to, perfect, thank you. We're going to, the exhibition was announced, and we're going to take you on a guided walk through this exhibition. So don't worry, you won't get lost, because each of you has a guide. Every table, every group will have a guide that takes you safely through the woods, not through the woods, through the exhibition. What are we going to show you? Well, we're basically going to take you through the exhibition booths that you've seen in the back and outside. So we have 6 show and tell areas. In every area, there will be someone who is helping you to understand what we are showing you and what achievements we want to share with you. And there will be 6 groups. Now, people who are good at mathematics, they've already picked up that there are 8 tables here. So let's get clarity on how to do this. First of all, table 1. Your guide will be Marianne. Marianne, can you please stand up? I know that your table knows you already, but so table 1, you follow your guide. Table 2, Jeff will be the guide. So table 2, don't lose your guide. Table 3, Solange will guide you. All right. Table 4, Inge, she's there for you. Table 5, Chantal, my neighbor, she will guide you. And table 6, it still says Sandrine, but it's not Sandrine, it's Regine. Regine, please. So table 6, stay with your table host. Now, table 7 and 8. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you. There it is. Okay, so table 8 and 7. Richard, who is standing right now, will reallocate you to group 5 or 6. So Richard is the person who will tell you join 5 or join 6. Is that clear? All right. So what are we going to do? We're going to walk around, and to make sure that we don't have too many collisions, we'll do it in an organized way. Table 1 will start at booth of the exhibition, booth 1. Table 2 will start at exhibition booth. Exactly, yeah. So table 3 will start at, and so on. Is the process clear? Yeah, of course it's clear, right? And then once you start your walk, you get 10 minutes to spend in that booth to learn. And then you will hear a sound. This is the sound. Okay, I've dismantled my bicycle for this. And Sarah will be the person who is going to make that sound. When you hear that sound, guide, and members of the group, you're going to walk from the booth you're in to the next number. So we follow the mathematical logic. If you're in 1, you go to. If you're in 5, you go to. If you're in 6, you go to. Voila, and everyone is very much awake and ready for this. So I would like to invite you to just now stand up, follow your guide, go to the right booth, and then Sarah will start the clock.
School leaders play a vital role in creating the conditions for effective teaching and learning. No school has sustainably improved the quality of education without effective school leadership. The Teacher Development and Management Policy in Rwanda has identified effective school leadership and management as priority. VVOB in Rwanda started working with the Ministry of Education through Rwanda Basic Education Board to strengthen effective school leadership and teacher professional development with a goal of improving students' learning outcomes.
Through different advocacy, VVOB really has just contributed to the initiation of the School Leadership Management Unit at Rwanda Basic Education Board. And at the same time, with the support of VVOB, we developed together the 5 standards of school leadership. And then those 5 standards of school leadership, we have even started implementing them, collecting data around that.
From 2011, VVOB, in collaboration with Rwanda Basic Education Board, that time it was not a Basic Education Board, they developed 5 standards which really help now to evaluate, to assess school leaders. And another support was on a CPD training program for school leaders. So we developed a CPD program for school leaders, and we started by identifying 1 school leader by sector. And we started with 416 school leaders to benefit, just to start the program of this CPD training program. The VVOB contributed a lot to School Leadership Task Force because at Rwanda Basic Education Board now we have different task forces and specifically for School Leadership Task Force, VVOB is co-chairing that task force.
So VVOB's current program is called the Leading Teaching Learning Together, LT squared or LTLT. It's a 5-year program and it's been running in 17 districts and it will be ending this year. But really leading teaching and learning together is exactly that. We are improving the competences, strengthening effective school leadership and also learning along the way. We're in strategic partnership with Minituk and of course the Rwanda Basic Education Board, University of Rwanda College of Education, with whom we work together to design these courses, but also redevelop and implement and then monitor and evaluate.
We participate in developing the material that allow the program to be implemented. We provide the trainers. That is the most important part. That's why even VVOB came to seek the partnership, because our mission is to train educational professionals, including qualified teachers and school leaders. So VVOB is helping us to really do our job, and be able to improve the quality of education.
VVOB helped us to reflect back on what we were teaching in relation to school leadership and the management, and we used their experience in the in-service training program to enrich our pre-service training. We have been able to reflect on that our programs, because we learn some best practices that are resulting from the training, and we have been able to reflect back on that, based on those practices. So we have integrated some of the case stories about best practices from our visit, our field visit, to assess the impact the training is producing, and we are integrating them in our programs so that our learners be aware of those best practices, and we also provide them opportunities to go and verify experience those best practices when they go on the school attachment.
And also with the support of VOB and in collaboration with the University of Rwanda, College of Education, modalities of continuous professional development for school leaders were initiated, and they are currently being delivered in blended mode. These are, we have a CPD diploma in effective school leadership, complemented by 2 professional learning communities of school leaders at sector level.
Kumenya kugena icyerekezo cy'ishuri nk'umuyobozi, burya umuyobozi mwiza ni umuyobozi ushobora kugena icyerekezo cy'ishuri, hanyuma n'uburyo bwo gukorana n'abandi no gusangira inshingano kugira ngo ibintu birusheho kugenda neza.
Before taking the training, I was not confident as I am. I have participated in CPD, Continuous Professional Development, where we have learned more things, but I have enjoyed with the coaching conversation. How can I help other school leaders in order to improve their performance?
We're actually seeing that school leaders are reporting that they actually know their role. They have the competences to deliver on their role. It's just not administrative, but actually they can set strategic direction, which is very important.
The Rwanda Basic Education Board recognized really the contribution of VVOB. VVOB really has been a good partner during this journey to empower our school leaders.
Effective school leadership is key to leverage quality of education for better learning and more resilient education systems. Empowering school leaders and developing their capacities are key actions to allow them to establish systems that enable teachers to continuously improve their practice and galvanize the whole community to support students' hopes and dreams. In this regard, the Ministry of Education in Rwanda has made great progress towards institutionalization of effective school leadership in basic education. A dedicated school leadership and management unit has been created, and through this unit, evidence-based professional standards for effective school leadership have been established, which describe the key roles, responsibilities, and required competencies to be an effective school leader. These standards now serve as a framework for recruitment, assessment, and professional development of school leaders. Responding to the question of teacher requires governments, international organizations, and civil society members to work in synergy and find adequate solutions for teachers together. In this line, the Ministry of Education in Rwanda, in collaboration with different partners, is in the process of establishing an African Center for School Leadership with the aim of supporting governments in Africa to build capacity in promoting effective school leadership for improved quality of teaching and learning outcomes.
We want to focus on 4 key areas of support. One is the development or redevelopment of policies, guidelines, standards, CPD provisions for school leaders. That's one. Another area is the support in the delivery of these school leadership programs. And also we want to strengthen monitoring, evaluation, and research, because we want to first to help the countries to take informed or evidence-based decisions in terms of promoting effective school leadership in their countries. And of course, knowledge mobilization and advocacy. We want to share or extend or disseminate evidence from the research that we are going to conduct.
Hello. Can we take our seats, please? Let's take our seats, please. Let's take our seats. I want to thank the presenters of the various booths for the good work done. I also want to thank the guides for the job well done as well. Yeah. And also our timekeeper. Thank you very much. So we are almost there. We have two activities. We are going to have a closing statement, and then the last important activity, as we celebrate, we have lunch. Please, that is a must to attend session. So let me take this opportunity to invite Leo, the head of department, Rwanda Basic Education, for his closing statement. Welcome, sir.
Very happy to have this task, which is very easy. Closing is always easy, because I'm very happy that we come at the end of this wonderful events. Always I say, when we are celebrating something which has happened, and we know exactly the results for this, I'm very happy to say that on behalf of Rwanda Basic Education Board, we are very happy to partner with VVOB. And we know that even the school leadership and management unit has been established because of initiative of VVOB. So as the government of Rwanda, we said, always when you have a partner and we have something new, some clarification on what we can do together, it's always good. So I would like to thank VVOB because of this partnership. I thank always our international guests. So we have those who coming from Canada, from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia. I remember that there is also from, it's okay, no, I think? Zimbabwe also, Ghana. Yeah. Yeah, and then South Africa. So I'm very happy that we are planning to have an African Center for School Leadership, and those are the key partners for effective school leadership. Then our center will be operational as soon as possible. So we would like to thank also MasterCard Foundation, the boss, the founder of this program. I like that Julius highlighted that we are celebrating now, and we have to celebrate again after these closing remarks. And I will be the one who celebrates it, because I will be on the table of the table number one. So I know that there is something which is special for this closing event. So again, thank you very much, University of Rwanda, College of Education. It's, we have a good partnership with the University of Rwanda. And sometimes people ask themselves the question, how the government institutions are working together for the common purpose. And they're training pre-service teacher. There's a pre-service training. But we have, at the Rwanda Basic Education Board, in-service teacher training. So working together, it's really to show that we cannot have the best performing teachers without having a good preparation of those teachers in the pre-service training. So that's why we are really appreciating our partnership with University of Rwanda College of Education. And one thing which is very interesting again is that when VBO is working with the government institutions, they start with the University of Rwanda and the Rwanda Basic Education Board, meaning this partnership is very strong because they start in pre-service and at the same time in service teacher training. So we are very happy that our schools now, we have seen this morning from the head teacher that now they are very happy that they know how to deal with the different challenges at the school level, how to support teachers. So I'm very happy that head teachers and school leaders now are equipped to support our teachers. And for information, we started the teacher and the school leaders recruitment activity yesterday, online written exam. And yesterday we had more than 4,500 candidates who passed the exam. Today we have more than 5,000. And in total we have 23,000 candidates up to Friday. So we need 12,500 new teachers and school leaders, meaning we need again your support. Because as you know, we always recruit our teachers, but all teachers are not certified in teaching methodology. So meaning they are qualified in other subjects, but not really certified in methodology. So we are planning to train them from this coming August. Together with our different partners, I think we achieved that target. So we have that training for 6 months. It's not postgraduate diploma as for teachers for secondary schools, but for pre-primary and primary teachers, it will be certificate. And we are working with NESA to have this. And we have the target to train our uncertified teachers, all uncertified teachers, by the end of next year, so that we have in our system all teachers certified and qualified in teaching and learning. So for school leaders, we have really a goal and target that to train, to capacitate our teachers. And right now, after this session of, I learned a lot, and sincerely speaking, I understand now the new program of VVOB. That's very, very exciting. Having all related to data, you know, this is, I think it will be a successful program, because we cannot really plan something which can be useful in the future without data. So learning through data, I think it will be a good program. And thank you for organizing this event to celebrate the last program, LT. So it was LT Square. Huh? I remember for the beginning it was LT Square, but now it's LT. Yeah? It's the same. So thank you very much. Without delaying, I would like again to thank you, to thank everyone here who is participating in this event. That's even organization of this event. It was really. There is innovation in this organization. I like innovation. I have seen different way of having this tour. You know, it was very exciting. Yeah, and I think it's also a good practice, best practice, to share with others. So we learn a lot from those who come from outside, and you see that the best practice for you'll be here in Rwanda, how to work with, how to organize events like this. It was even my first time to come to this hotel. It's new. Yeah, it's new. Most of you, I think it's your first time. So I end this saying that I officially close this event, but we open now celebration somewhere else. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Leo. Indeed, we are going to another session of celebrating and direct the statistics on the number of new teachers and head teachers recruited. As you were speaking, I was trying to see whether we can have an eye contact. That the job is still ongoing. Okay? Okay. So the booths are still open. We have not closed the booths. If you still have a burning question, one or two, please, you can still have presenters explain so that everything is clear. So we're going to have lunch. Lunch will be on level 1. Just take a lift to level 1. So let's share, let's celebrate, let's network, and let's keep engaging and communicating to each other. Welcome to that session.